what else can we do? We're stuck on, that's the way this is turning out. Like you're stuck on the side of the road. No, better scenario. You're in the woods, a kegger with your friends. Oh, dump truck aside. You're in the woods, you're partying with your friends. You're not 21 yet. You have a half barrel of beer and like 20 friends, and your car won't start. What can we do to figure out what's wrong? I don't know what we're doing today. We were supposed to come here and wake a customer up who was sleeping in his van or truck to confirm a tip-em issue. But he's not here, so I think we're doing like an older dump truck. I don't know. We'll see. What are we doing, man?
Okay.
What do you want us to work on?
All right, so there's one that you're not going to want to mess with.
Well, that's always the case. Somebody told me recently that I should tell you to stop dragging your feet.
I don't tie my boots.
I know. I'm thinking to myself, why? Like, if he wants to have his shoes untied and drag his feet, he's allowed to.
I know. I've noticed that on every one of my videos when I'm walking around. I'm like,
But so what? That's what you do. It's not hurting your feet. It's not like you're like playing basketball or something and your freaking high tops are loose. Do people call them that anymore?
I don't think so.
High tops?
So this one here, it's a stick, of course, and I don't think the emergency brake works. I don't even know if the battery's dead or not.
Which is...
battery's dead.
Of course it's dead. What's his complaint?
So, well, I was told it wouldn't start.
Okay.
But then we never had it happen. When he brought it here, Bob started it, and he said, I smell like raw fuel, and it was like huffing, blah, 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 and wouldn't accept gas. And by the time I got in and got like a fuel pressure gauge and, came out, it was running, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we tried to break it for a week.
And it wasn't huffing?
No. I don't know if it's going to actually break on you, because they actually drove it all the way out towards like past the county airport, and then it died out there. They said while they were driving it, which is not what they told me was happening.
So it never died on them?
It died on them after they took it. I had it for a week.
But I mean, originally it wasn't for a dying issue, it was for a no start.
It was like, that's what I was told. You know
it's
what
got
I mean?
a new math on it.
I know. And it had...
Somebody been swapping some parts.
Yes, and I asked them if they knew anything about that, and no one can tell me anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? And of course, they're here because of you.
Oh, are they?
Of course. I hear you're the best. Well,
that doesn't necessarily mean from me. That's your own doing.
It's you. Even that lady right there with the CRV. My husband loves you. You know how smart he is? He like a teacher or something. I'm like, nope, that's not me.
So he drove it and it died on him too. And
yeah, we drove it around the block like a million times.
And we're not going to have any fault codes.
Bob had it running. It could still be in my history. I think there might have been a couple. It's like random misfire codes, and it's got a misfire counter on 2 cylinders but they're opposite banks, and it's not misfiring, but they're constantly rolling up.
Gotta love intermittents and dead batteries on intermittents with no trouble codes. Check engine lights on, that's cool. I mean, but it's in for a no start. Whoa, I'm like, I didn't.
I thought you knew you were drifting.
I didn't.
Like, dude, you trying to run me over?
No, I didn't know I was moving. I'm like, so the parking brake does not work. I was just, so I can't leave it run. Shit. So there's a problem. That is that this thing died on them, and I don't know if they had it towed here. This is a dump truck. Like, it's not easy to tow a dump truck. Potentially.
Oh, you mean for...
I'm just saying, to recreate the problem in the test drive, I'm nervous to do that. I don't have enough information. This is supposedly a no start. I think this is a 2004. Yeah, 2004 Chevy Silverado 6-liter heater circuit bank 2 sensor 1. That's not going to give us no start stuff. We're going to look at that real quick just to scratch an itch for you guys. Yeah, trims look good up top. It was bank 2 sensor 1, right? So unlike a Ford, this doesn't have heater current listed, but that's an indication right there that there is a heater malfunction. Just face value, looking at the O2, see how much less frequent and the amplitude's less consistent on the bank 2 sensor 1 sensor. I'm not worried about that. That is not what we're chasing. I'll make sure I notate that to my brother. I'm gonna raise the RPM to heat the sensor using exhaust gas just for you guys. This is just really a learning type of thing here. This isn't fixing the truck. This is not related to a no start condition, intermittent stall, no start condition. But I'm gonna heat this sensor up. So just raise the RPM. And I'll bet you we'll see the amplitude look more consistent too here in a second. Yeah, so you see how the amplitude of that sensor has grown to match the bank 1. And, you know, that's telling you the sensor's okay. The sensor part of it, definitely a heater circuit issue you're looking at there. Let me come back down to idle. And whether that's the heater in the sensor or wiring, again, I don't care. This is not what we're here to troubleshoot. Yeah, see how they're more consistent now too, even at idle. Heater circuit issue, the bank 2 sensor 1. All right, so we have nothing to go by as far as our intermittent no start condition, and it really right now involves a test drive. And so I need to know from my brother if we have the okay to do that. Otherwise, we literally are going to sit here and run this truck where it is in hopes that it will get hot and shut off on us. We need some more information. So their complaint was an intermittent no start. That's what we're doing, right?
Except for whenever they took it, it died on them and then wouldn't restart.
But I mean, originally it was towed in then?
They drove it in because it was like doing some funny stuff to him. And then they left, and then Bob went to try to move it and it wouldn't start. And we had to like almost clear flood it to get it to start. And then he said he smelled
raw fuel
kind of. And it was just huffing and running.
But that wasn't their complaint, right? Their complaint was...
I can't get a straight answer because different people tell me different stuff. All I know is at this point, we had it for a week and a half, snowstorms. I mean, I had COVID in the middle of it.
Right.
And I'm like, we can't break it, you know?
So can I drive it? Do you think I'm okay to stay in the industrial park and drive it?
I'll grab a chain and pull you back.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. The only thing I have is a bank 2 sensor 102 heater code.
Yeah.
And I just showed some data, and it does look like the heater's not working because it's more sluggish than bank 1. But
I saw one time an O2 sensor on a Chevy truck that got chewed on by mice, and the wires were touching, and it almost did the same kind of
thing. So we should eyeball that. I was going to say the only thing that I could see related would be some kind of a harness issue. I didn't think the O2 itself, but it would have to short to ground and then flood the one bank, but that's not going to make it be a no start. It wouldn't ever make it be a no start. It'd give you some running problems. Unless it blew the fuse, but then blowing the fuse, you know, if it fed, let's say the fuse fed injectors or something too, but that's not going to fix itself. No. The worst ones are intermittent, with dead batteries, with zero customer information that's useful. That's where we are. I don't even know what data to pull up. These are tough, man. It's really not going to be much we're looking at here. There's no reason for me to configure this data list right now. I just need to drive it. And I don't know how many circles around the industrial park we're going to do, but this is one of those ones where, you know, it's okay to say no. Say, take it. Sorry, can't help you. You know what I mean? How much time as a garage owner, you know, how much time do you spend? Because time is money, and you got other tasks to do. And I'm speaking not for us, but for my brother and what he does. Time is money. You know, for me and Caleb, we could drive this all day long and try to make it break, but we don't want to. I don't want to. Because what if we can't? Then we just wasted the whole day and we got you guys with us on camera and what do we do with this? I don't know. What do we do with it? One thing I've learned, and I think as a rookie, I would say things like, that customer's full of crap with something like this. And I've learned over the years, nothing could be further from the truth. Because if you think that through, customer is aware up front, maybe they're paying $150 initial for an initial diagnostic, right? Do you think a customer is just gonna be like, here's $150 just because I feel like spending it? No. Trust me, there's something wrong with the car. The customer knows better than you do. There's something wrong with the car. So just get that thought out of your head. I know a lot of us are like that. Customer's full of shit, man. No, he's not. There's a problem. We just got to find it. We just got to duplicate it. And when you can't get a straight answer from a customer, like my brother just said, man, does it make our job a lot harder. Like, it's not hard enough with an intermittent. Whoa, 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 what's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that was bad. Okay, I need to look at some data. Oh, I'm encouraged now. I think on that little short test drive to be able to make it do something, I think we'll be able to make something of this for you guys. Here, let me clean the window for you. Oh, damn it. Here, is that better? Is that better? Get a shot of that. Ooh, we're dead. I have no throttle. I have no throttle. Damn it. I hope it starts because the battery was dead. No. I have no. I lost ScannerDanner. I wanted to see. No. Engine speed. Let's see. Yeah, I'm losing ScannerDanner, so I can't use ScannerDanner to help me. I just heard the fuel pump prime, independent of the key being turned on. I don't want to kill my battery completely here. What I want to do is scan another module. As soon as it starts talking to me again, I'm not going to crank it because I lose data when I crank it. Let's exit. Let's see what codes we have, if any. Just the heater code. Nothing else in the engine. Let's go to the ABS system just to see if we have some no-com codes. Nothing in the ABS. Airbag. What I'm looking for is communication type stuff. Nothing there. Well, that's pretty much all we're gonna get there. Let's see what my map voltage does on a crank. Just see, data stops. As soon as I crank it, we literally lose data. The second that I crank it, we lose data. So I can't use anything on here right now. What we need is to not be here. I need to not be here in this position right now. We need to do a couple of visual inspections. I want to go, we had a Bank 2 Sensor 102 heater code. I want to look in that area for any harness damage, because the way that this thing died and the way that it's acting right now is suggesting not like a fuel pump problem or just an ignition issue. This is suggesting something centralized within the whole system is shutting down this engine management system. And primarily because I'm losing data on a crank. Damn it. And then here's the other thing too. I'm in a customer's vehicle. It's a stick. The e-brake doesn't hold. And I just have to rely on the truck staying in its place. You know, there's safety involved here. So one of the things that I'm gonna do is cut the wheel all the way. So if this thing does roll on me when I'm under the hood, it's not gonna roll all the way down the hill. It's just gonna roll into the curb next to us. Make sense? Little safety issues. Okay, let's go look. I don't even have any of my measurement equipment with me, so I can't hook up my scope. Unprepared. I'm just kind of eyeballing some harnesses here. Oil all over that one. Bank 1, bank 2's that side. I didn't see anything on the bank 2 sensor. It's right here if you want to get a shot of it. And so I checked the harness right in here and down along the frame, and it looks okay. I'm limited in what I can do here. It was real strange, the symptoms and the way that acted. And then I heard the fuel pump turn on too while the key was already on. I have nothing with me. Okay, Caleb, old school, but I'm gonna need your help. You're gonna tell me if we have spark here. So the thing about this, you're gonna have to hold that. You might get zapped.
Sweet.
It's gonna come from the coil and it's gonna jump to that wire. So I need you to, and that's way inside there too. So we almost need to,
like
we almost need to hold it like right there. None?
Let me hold it in a little more. The camera might not see it.
Yep. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. So what else can we do? We're stuck on, that's the way this is turning out. Like you're stuck on this side of the road. No, better scenario. You're in the woods, a kegger with your friends. Dump truck aside. You're in the woods, you're partying with your friends. You're not 21 yet. You have a half barrel of beer and like 20 friends, and your car won't start. What can we do to figure out what's wrong? That's one. I'm not saying I have other answers right now. I'm just giving the scenario of what do we do?
Call Dan.
Call Dan. I'm not calling him yet. I want to think about what else I would do if I'm stuck in the freaking woods. You have no spark. I don't have anything to figure it out. That's the problem. Where is my engine computer? Okay, cool. My engine computer's right here. I want to eyeball the crank sensor wires. It could be something as simple as a crank sensor fault. We can't really go by, I have some other ideas. I do have a scan tool with me, so that's a little bit cheating here with bidirectional controls in my less Stroud scenario. So now I'm wavering on, do I use the scan tool or not with this? Let's stay low tech, yeah? I'm gonna go underneath and eyeball the crank sensor wiring just because we don't have spark.
Okay.
And the way that this kind of surged on us when it died, I would think that this would set a crank sensor fault because it has a cam sensor too. And now I'm going beyond our woods scenario again. I'm gonna visual the crank. You're not gonna be able to see, Caleb. I got a pretty bad leak here of something too. This has new oil cooler lines on it. So someone was in here doing some things. I think the crank sensor is above the starter, if I remember. Like you really can't see them very well. Nope, I got no visuals I can do on the crank. Yeah, with no test equipment.
Want me to go drive somewhere? Take you somewhere real quick?
No, I could definitely use my test leads out of the back of my truck if you want to grab them. And my jump pack. So I'll do that. I'm cheating. I'm gonna go get my leads and the jump pack. Cause it's dead here. If we tow it, we might lose a window of opportunity. I got my buddy Rich here who works down the road. Yeah, we're not in the woods anymore. My woods scenario would have been fun, but not practical. And I didn't see anything. There's other stuff we could do, visual inspections and stuff, but I guess here's the bottom line on that scenario. You're just busted. You're busted. You gotta call mom and dad and get a tow truck out in the woods, and dad's gonna be real angry, and it'll be the last kegger you throw for a while. That's where we are with this one, because I want to check. I'm interested in battery voltage, first of all, to this coil. It should be the pink wire at the top. It should be.
You're just back probing it?
Yeah, I'm just back probing. Just want to see if I I'm losing power to the coil, and that'll answer maybe some questions like it's an overall power type thing, because I'm losing scan data when I'm cranking. All right, so I have 12 volts on that coil right now. I want to see what that looks like when I crank it. Make sure I'm not losing it. Nope. Maintaining voltage there. Okay, let's see if we have coil control. Which one of the other wires is it going to be? I do not know. Well, let me see wire colors. I might be able to identify by colors. I'm looking for the wire color that's different. So it's not going to be the black. It's either going to be one of those two middle ones. I think it's that third one would be our coil control. My pin's seen better days too. Let's see what we got. I got nothing on that, so I'm either on the wrong wire or my pin's not in. Okay, I'm switching gears because an injector is going to be easier, maybe, to answer. I want to see if I have injection pulse. I'm going to back probe this fuel injector. See if I have injection pulse. Okay, good. I picked the non-pink wire on the injector. I have 12 volts there right now, which means power's going in, wrapping through, coming back out, waiting for a ground side switch circuit. So this should pull down. I do have injection pulse. That was a pretty crappy looking waveform as far as the collapse of the field goes. But I'm on a, here, let's peak detect that just to make sure we're not missing something. That's not the kind of waveform I'd want to see with an injector. All right, now let's watch it. We should be getting spikes of near 100 volts on this injector. So I just changed my scale to 100. Okay, yeah. I have injection pulse. So to have injection pulse and no spark is very unusual in this. Now I'm questioning your spark test if we truly didn't have spark, and this is simply a fuel pump that's just taking a crap on us.
You want me to crank it?
In which case, that doesn't explain why scan data would crap out on me during cranking, but it is possible on some systems it'll do that. You're cranking engine over and you lose scan data, and there's not necessarily a problem there. So I might be barking up the wrong tree here. I missed something for you keggers out there, and when we're stuck in the woods, beating on the fuel tank. I never did it. I never smacked on the fuel tank. I should have. We'll see. The result of this spark test is really going to answer that. I'm going to go to another wire on this. It's going to be one of these middle two. That's the feed and that's the ground. The other two, one of them is going to be the control. I definitely was not pinned all the way on that last test. Okay, this is spark control. We should have like a 0.5 volt square wave. There it is. We have control. So, fuel pump. Smack on the tank. Okay, let's see if we have a bidirectional control for the pump, so I can turn it on manually. I don't like that I'm losing data when I'm cranking. That's concerning. It didn't feel like low fuel pressure to me. It wasn't a bog. It was almost like wiring. Functional output controls. Fuel pump relay, sweet. Let's see if we hear it. I think that spark test you did, Caleb, was invalid because I'm showing control. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I definitely have control, and I definitely have injection pulse, which says cam and crank signals is not where we're going here, for sure. All right, ready? Listen. I hear it.
I heard it too.
It only ran it for a couple of seconds. Let's see if it starts. Doesn't even want to try to start. I want to redo this spark test. Can you sit here and crank it for me and I'll look? All right. Yeah, our battery's dying and there is not spark. To have control, which I do, an injection pulse and not have spark is highly unusual because the computer there's no module in this. Computer controls all of the coils. You know, it did feel like something electrical to me. Coils dropping out. Continuing to lose scan data when I'm cranking. Let's see if this gives me coil control. It does not. I want to focus on the coil again because I didn't have spark. I mean, it could be that it's just not jumping that far because that boot's like way inside there. It could be. It's a roofing, or I'm not sure, some type of roofing thing, or I'm just going to use it to do a spark test. I mean, it's a screw, but like what this piece is, I don't know. Nice. Now I'll be able to do that test, or actually you could hold it there and tell me. Okay. All right, that's 100% confirmed that we lost spark. And that's an unusual symptom on this setup because computer controls injection, computer controls spark, and we have spark control. I saw spark control to the coil. We should have spark. So that means that maybe I'm missing a ground. I didn't check the coil grounds. Like a main ground for the whole system. I need to check it. Voltage drop test. It's going to be loaded circuit cranking. And I know I only checked coil control on the one coil, but these are all controlled by the engine computer. And I don't feel a need to check multiples at the moment. I definitely want to be on the battery for this test. Make sure my meter reads 12 volts. We'll just go to the back of the alternator.
After this test, I saw the battery.
Okay, good. I'm gonna go on this bottom wire, which should be the coil ground. Okay. So I have 0 volts. I'm ground to ground. Not a good test yet, because I need to crank it to load the circuit. I want to see that stay on ground. Ha ha! Yes! We have no ground. We have no ground on that coil. None. 0. In fact, just with the key on right now, that ground, power coming into the coil, it's wrapping through, and it's the ground showing me 12 volts. And that makes more sense because you're not gonna have good power feed. We have good injection pulse. We're losing computer communication cranking, which may be a symptom of that same ground. Side note there. So my point was for the computer to control all the coils, all the injectors, and we have coil control and we have power feed to the coil, which we confirmed. And I'm using coil control, the little square wave that's turning the coil on and off. We should have spark. So that's why I attacked the ground. Next. It's really the only thing that would make sense. That's exactly what we have. We have a bad ground on this engine. Now, where is the block ground for the coils? I don't know. But the nice thing is with the key on is I can look at this meter and start moving some wires and look for it. Let me make sure that we're in gear. Absolutely, we have a bad block ground for the coils, and probably some other circuits too related. So where do they put them on the Chevys is a question. I can always cheat, call my brother. Let's do that.
I was just about to come find you. What do you need?
I need to know where the coils get their ground from on the block. We have a bad block ground for all the ignition coils.
Nice.
Yes.
Is that why I was racking up misfire counts?
Yep, and probably, and it's the way it acted too when I was driving it, because it was like surging real bad, like bucking, chugging, and
yeah,
and then no codes, of course.
There's a main computer ground on them LS motors that's behind the intakes, dead center.
But and I also lose. Here's the thing, right? I lose communication.
Can we just bring you a jumper pin and just run a redundant ground off of one of the coils?
I mean, we could do that.
Just to get you back.
No, just tell me where it is first, because I'm set up. I got the scope set up. Like I want to.
Where are you?
I'm around.
Are you in Bethel's parking lot?
Yeah.
What,
No, I'm not in Bethel. I'm up the road from them. It's a 04 6-liter. So I can see the ground on the back of the bell housing, but that one's good. I like your idea of grounding the coils.
So it says G102 is left side of engine.
Left side.
You want me to bring you a jumper wire and a pin and a V-clip and we'll ground it to the battery and you drive back?
Yeah, and then print up the coil diagram too to make sure that I am in fact on the ground. I don't want to ground something that's not a ground, you know what I mean? In fact, I can prove that right now. If I unplug this, I'm just gonna unplug the coil, Caleb, and if that voltage drops to 0, then I am on the ground. Why did that not drop to 0? I might have been mistaken here. Oh, all the coils would need to be unplugged for that test because they all share the same ground. I can't do that test like that, yeah.
So the coil ground color is...
It should be black.
It's, ground is just black.
Yeah, bring me a jumper wire, man. We can get this thing at least back to the shop and then we'll go from there.
All right.
Okay. I wanted to fix it here on the road. I'm gonna look underneath on the left side. The ground's right here, but now the thing is I need my scope so I can wiggle that. Yes, that's it. Look, every time, watch when I move it. I just had a, there, right there. Sweet, what? Less trial wouldn't have fixed this one. Definitely needed to do a voltage drop test. And I know that there's really no current flow here right now. But the key is to have the circuit on. I'm looking at a circuit, power goes in, comes back out, and with no ground, you're gonna have 12 volts on the ground. That's exactly what we have, even though there's no current flow. But you want to, when you do this type of testing, in your mind, you're always thinking about loaded circuit. How do you load the circuit on a coil? Turn the key on, crank it over, that's your load. And as soon as I turned the key on, I saw the 12 volts on the ground. The jumper wire will get us running back to the shop and then we can fix that ground. But it was cool that you were able to see where I was shaking it. We'll get a better shot when we get back to Danner's shop. And yeah, that was fun. I didn't really expect that on a old dump truck, you know? I was kind of wavering on where our problem was, and to see injection pulse and to see what I assumed was an incorrect spark test that you did, Caleb. I was blaming you. Moved me toward the fuel pump, and I did hear the fuel pump run at one point in time at a weird time when it shouldn't have, and I don't think that circuit's shared there. That ground, it's just one single ground wire. I think it may be a coincidence that the computer loses comm during cranking. I don't know if that's related, but this was fun, man. This was just knowing your fundamentals, plugging them in. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're working on. It doesn't matter year, make, or model. It's the same exact thought process. So those that would maybe view this video and see the title and it's an 04 and be like, Danner's working on old stuff again. It's all the same. It's all the same. I wouldn't be doing anything different than if this was a 2019 model. I wouldn't. Same thing. 100%, man, 100%.
You know, I'm like looking for, I can't find, we're gonna have to hillbilly something
Hillbilly's
real
fine.
bad.
Watch this line. That's my ground. I'm gonna wiggle it.
So you're showing 12 volts on the ground side?
Yes. Watch.
Oh, there you go.
Watch.
There it goes again. Hey, it's like a pulse width modulated.
All right, so yes, I agree. We can ground that. Here, we can just use that pin What's that?
Well, here's a T-pin.
What?
No, we're gonna
I'm already pinned.
Huh?
I'm already pinned.
Oh, will this fit in there? Just, I don't know if that'll fit in there because I lost the clip. I lost the freaking clip. Or will this fit in there?
Yes.
And then we'll click.
Yes.
We'll click this to that piece here. Now click that to there.
I could just ground it right on the block. Let's just see if it runs with that.
No, that's not a good ground. That's probably not a good ground. I didn't bring a test light.
Give me another location.
You're talking a block ground. I smell gas.
Well, because the injectors are firing.
Yeah.
That's why it was flooded.
Yeah.
It all comes together now. That makes sense. They cranked the shit out of it until it flooded the engine because I have injection pulse and fuel pump operation.
Hook that on battery negative.
I need to take my jumper off, my jump pack off.
Is it flooded?
It's definitely flooded, I'm sure, but I need to make sure I have spark now. Pull that number 1 coil wire off, see if we got spark. That's the number 2, but whatever.
I don't care. I'm just gonna check it.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. No.
So our ground's still not good. I definitely had contact here, so this is not an issue.
I mean,
we just have like some really janky stuff going on here, Danner.
I know. Well, where's your voltmeter? Can we like check resistance somehow? Or no?
Well, we can voltage drop it, but we're using my pin. Here, give me, what is this? I want to use this.
Do you want to use?
Can we go like maybe
pin?
to the something else on the block? Go to the AC freaking, just clip it to the AC bracket. Maybe wiggle it.
Just a little bit. You know, someone's gonna tell you that R134A is flammable.
Yeah, whatever. I don't
you're
even
gonna
give
blow
a
the
shit
truck
right now.
up.
Let's get this back to the shop. Dude, I love troubleshooting.
It can be satisfying. It can be satisfying.
It can be the worst thing ever. Like when we started this job, I'm like, I'm about the customer because he didn't give us good information. You know, in the customer's defense, before I forget, he tried to give you good information. How are you going to describe that condition? You're not going to have a consistent description.
No, you have how many different drivers that be like, I don't know, I'm driving it and it shut off and it won't start.
Right.
That's all you get.
No, what we needed is it violently shook before it shut off. This is awesome. Turned out to be awesome, didn't it? Don't let me forget to just put an amp clamp on that O2 heater real quick for Danner too, just to confirm that heater circuit's not working. Okay? Because then he can, you know, sell him an O2 sensor too, or at least tell him about it. And that's unrelated to this. And so I had a question from a viewer. He's like, hey, can you talk about how you bill for jobs? Because not everything is an hour. And I'm like, well, yeah, for sure. We can talk about that. I talk about it all the time. The first thing is when you sell an initial diagnosis for something like this, you don't sell time. If it took me 5 minutes to locate that ground, it's because 20 years of experience taught me where to look and how to find that. And should my pay decrease because I've gotten better at it? Should my pay decrease because maybe I've seen that problem before and know how to attack it? Absolutely not. Your pay was higher when you didn't know and you had to research it. Why would it drop? Like that's the mentality of some people, most customers, to be honest with you. But no, so that's number one. Don't sell time up front. It is up to 1 hour for the diagnosis. So that's 5 minutes or 60 minutes. It's the same price. Okay, we just did that right now. This initial diagnosis for this bad ground. The O2 sensor code and the O2 sensor fault is not part of that deal. It's not. I can do some quick tests on that O2 and confirm. Or if you want to sell the customer an O2 sensor, or Mr. or Mrs. Customer, go ahead, change the O2. If that doesn't fix it, it's not my problem. We'll communicate well, make sure that you understand that. But we don't work for free. That O2 sensor, I am not here to look at that O2 sensor. I am here to look at this problem of it not starting so the guy can't get his work done. It's a work vehicle. I'm here for the no start, stalling, misfiring condition. Okay? Hope that helps. How you want to proceed with the O2 fault, that's on you, customer. Communication's key. There is a common denominator here. There's new oil cooler lines that were run on this. And it doesn't look like the bolt that the ground is attached to, because that's the main battery ground too. So there's a big bolt there, and that one's fine because I can crank it.
Yeah.
But
maybe it got tugged on or something?
Maybe, because those lines are right underneath, and the bolt underneath was, it's the hold down for it. So literally right underneath it. So someone was there.
Yeah.
Not saying that they did anything wrong, but you know, it happens.
Try to put oil cooler lines in one of these, pointy engine mount out, and just tell me how fun it is and if you're going to bump something.
Was that you?
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought you were trying to cover your ass.
Yeah, I mean, you know how
Okay, but I agree. Like, that's...
Yeah, you can't...
I'm not blaming that. I'm just saying that there was recent work done there.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it up and can I, like, floor jack it? And
yeah, there's floor jacks there. I can get some jack stands. We'll get it under the frame.
And then that O2 code, I don't know what you want to do about that.
I mean, I'll call them and see if they want to do it. That's not a big deal. Wow, look how rusty that is.
There's another main ground going to it too, right? Or is
there's
that by
a
itself?
heavy ground, and it looks like it goes behind it.
It does go behind it.
And it looks corroded under the wire loom.
Yeah. I'm going to tug on that wire and break it now.
Are you going to be what, right there? Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Did you catch that?
Yes.
It just broke. Here's the end. Can you see the end of it? So I just tugged on it all the way. So it probably wasn't, even though it's really corroded, it was just simply all the strands were broken. Yeah, that's the main battery or block ground too right there. There's your broken end. I want to say it was just broken right here. It wasn't really the corrosion on the end of it, you know? Mm-hmm. Just the strands. It was just on really one strand. Sweet. Sweet. Good to go. I think we should zip tie this. Danner, give me a zip tie. So what happens, you see how much movement's in this harness, Caleb? So what happens over time with a harness like this and a little wire like that is one at a time those strands will break. And you wouldn't think that much movement would do that, but it absolutely does. So what we want to do is we want to stabilize that. Either zip tie here these together so it's less, or I'm going to go actually maybe two. I'll do one here and zip tie it to here so it doesn't move there. 2 zip ties, Danner. Hey Danner, this was not corrosion. This was a vibration breakage.
From the bad engine mount?
No, why? Does it have a bad engine mount?
I don't know. Did you feel it thumping when you shifted?
I did not.
Okay, maybe it don't. Damn it.
You got some?
I do, but I accidentally pushed it together.
I want to say that this is probably not the fault of the installer of this new line. Boy, I get some crap about cutting that zip tie last time.
What zip tie?
I cut one on a vehicle, that one that we did the crank sensor on. Because I cut it at an angle like where it was real sharp.
Oh yeah, well I have a tool for that, but you tried to pull a nail out of your freaking tire and you snapped the you snapped the tip off. It's a straight cut made for zip tie. You tried to pull a screw out of your freaking tire with it, and it's on national back order. I can't even get a new one.
Oh no, that sucks. I'll tell you what I'm going to do this time. I'm not even going to cut them.
Leave them hang.
I'm going to leave them hang. You guys that didn't like my angled cut, and I don't blame you. It was a good argument, good complaint. Right? We're just gonna leave those there. So watch when I move the harness. See how that stays still now? That's what we want, right where that is. Okay? Let's make sure it starts. I'll wait too.
No, go ahead, you're fine.
Can I?
Exhaust manifold leak.
Yeah. That test was inaccurate for the start because I still had my jumper in there. We'll do it again with our jumper removed. All right, Caleb, down here. O2 heater circuit. We're gonna do it just because. Dude, this thing's so rusty. I need like a better ground location here. This is where the PP reigns supreme.
And you're holding that right.
I just need a ground. And there is no good grounds on this truck. So we go right to the battery and we'll know for sure any measurements we do will be legit. Starting it. Make sure I'm in neutral. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, no other light but the check engine light right now, Danner.
Okay.
This ground lead for the power probe is awesome. I go right to it with my tool. I can throw 12 volts at the tip. Okay. All right. So we have a good ground. That's our primary reason here for using that. All right, heater circuits. O2 sensor side. 2 blacks are facing me. Flip it over. White and a blue. Sensor side, heater circuits, always the same color. So the 2 blacks, the heater is gonna be these 2 wires right here. Crossing them over to the other side of the harness. Should have a 12 volt feed and a ground, maybe pulse width modulated on one of the 2. Got peak detect turned on. Reading 0.01 on that wire. 13 volts on that wire. That is a good heater circuit as far as voltage goes. That's an open in the heater is what that means with that heater code. And I can do a quick amperage measurement to prove that to you. By the way, this is chapter 5 material in my book for you guys that are following along. O2 heater circuit testing. This is gonna be heater current measurement now. I'm gonna change our probe. Low amp 20, yep. O2 heaters draw about 1 amp of current for conventional zirconia O2s. And this step really isn't needed at this point. I've done the checks that I need to do for the heater, but I'm just proving to you that this circuit is okay, regardless if we have current here. 5 amps is good. No change whatsoever. Let's get a number in there, 0.02. So no current flow with the heater. Let me zero this. Clip that around there. Nothing at all. Open in the O2 heater itself is what that is. So that's the code that's left. And again, for you guys, it's up to you on how you would want to bill for that. I think in this circumstance, I wouldn't be charging any more time for checking that real quick, mainly because of where it's located and how easy that was to do. If it was a more difficult one to confirm, do you want to roll the dice and just sell them an O2 after we just fixed a wiring problem? I don't think so. I think you'd want to check it, and that's going to be up to you guys on how you want to sell the job. But just keep following what I'm doing, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. This one was super fun for me. I really enjoyed it, and Lots of twists and turns as usual because we film live, and we just enjoy the comments that we get from you guys each and every week. And special thanks to my son, who really is the magic behind the camera, and not just the camera, he's the editor. My son Caleb, for you guys that are new here, he's been with me since 2016, 2017 full-time. So it's like his 4th year working with me full-time, and he just
started full-time in like 2019.
29, that's right, because you had school. So part-time while you were still in high school. He's 21 now, married with children. I'm a grandpa, but Caleb is my man. Love working with my son, and I love being here with you guys, and I love troubleshooting. See you guys next time.